That's right. That's
We're
right.
recording this for YouTube and Facebook.
Good.
You ready to get started?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
absolutely.
folks. This is Lonzo Williams, the godfather of West Coast hip hop. A man who loves Compton, been a part of Compton all my life. As some of you may have known in the past, I have been known to interview various candidates for various political offices here in the city of Compton. On my previous show, Issues in the Hood. Well, that show was gone, but technology allows us to bring some of the same features right to your living room once again. And I've been asked by some candidates or some supporters of candidates, Lonzo, could you interview some of the people and make it available to the people of Compton? Well, you know what? Why not? Today, first before I say that, this forum is open to everybody. I don't care who you are, where you're from, as long as you're from Compton and representing the city of Compton. If you want to run for city mayor, treasurer, city council, whatever team you own, whatever size you own, I don't care. I'm not here for that. I'm here for the people of Compton. I'm here to give an impartial platform for those who want to speak to me or speak to the people of Compton. You can come into the chat room. Hopefully at one point in time I'll be doing these live, but I had to put that disclaimer out there because I'm not here for any one candidate. I'm here for the people of Compton. So that being said, my first guest today is a brother running for mayor of Compton. His name is James Hayes. How you doing today, James?
Doing good, brother. How are you?
I can't complain, man. I'm here on a beautiful sunny day. I should be outside washing my car, doing something else, but I'm here in the studio doing what I love doing anyway. So it's all good.
I'm happy to be with you.
You're running for the city. You're running for mayor of the city of Compton.
Right.
What makes you want to be the mayor of the city of Compton?
Well, I think first of all, remember I ran 4 years ago. Okay. And obviously I ran 4 years ago because I didn't think the city was doing a good job in terms of serving the public. And, you know, you give it 4 years and you hope, as I hoped 4 years ago, that after that election, things would get better in the city. But I think most people will agree with me that things have not gotten better. And so that was the impetus to run again. Okay, so because things did not get better over the last 4 years, I am back and running again.
What do you think you can bring to the city of Compton that hasn't been attempted in the past?
Well, I think as it relates to serving as mayor or say serving on the city council, I know what I'm bringing is a businessman's mentality to handling issues that confront the city. As you know, the city has a huge financial deficit and has a problem with fiscal solvency. Well, that's a business matter. And as a business person, you bring a different outlook in terms of how the city's supposed to conduct itself financially. So if you have a $114 million deficit, that means you're handling your business wrong. So I bring a business perspective to it and the ability to handle the nuts and bolts business of a city. And I think that's what's been missing.
What's your education?
My background is in biomedical sciences. And, you know, I'm actually a biomedical scientist, but what keeps me involved in politics is that actually I've been involved in politics at the same time for the last 30 years that I've been involved in biomedical science.
Tell me what biomedical science is, just so I'll know.
Well, to give you an example, the clearest example that all of us understand, it seems to me, is when people, in remembrance of Kobe Bryant, everybody heard about him taking a plane to Germany to get a platelet-rich plasma injection. Okay, when he was playing. Well, platelet-rich plasma is one of my specialties. I actually developed 2 forms of platelet-rich plasma that physicians all over the country use. And so that's an explanation or example of biomedical sciences. So what I do basically is I take cells, I take from blood, and I developed a way to activate those platelets. And that's what the doctors inject into knees and shoulders and ankles and wherever an injury occurs. Okay. So that's my role in biomedical sciences. And as I said, I've been involved for over 30 years now, or about 30 years now in biomedical sciences.
Okay, fantastic. Now, you know, the job of the mayor don't pay a lot of money. Do you need that job? I got to ask this question, man. I'm going to ask this question. Do you need that $600 a month to make it?
Yeah.
That's going to make a big difference in your life.
You know what? Everybody asks that question, and you know, the short answer is no, but the long answer is over these years, I've been very successful in business. I actually was part of a group that started a biologics company, what, 7, 8 years ago, and starting that company, my goal, and then fortunately my partners, was always to sell the company. We came up with good technology, good science, and we were attractive to other companies to buy our technology, and that's exactly what happened. So, you know, you do well when you do that financially. And I wrote that into another company that I started 4 years ago. And the company's been very successful. And it put me in a position where the $600 a month doesn't play a big role. Okay. And I'm not needing you know, anything in addition to that to feel good about it. So
all right, not a problem. What would be some of your plans for Compton when it comes to these gang killers? We have a rash of gang killers here.
Oh yeah.
As a mayor of Compton, what would you see as some type of action that can be taken to curb or stop the rash of gang killers we have here in the city?
Well, I think, you know, I always think of the first thing as I'm out talking to people. You know, I do talk to young men who I see in the neighborhoods, and some of them are involved in gang activity. And so the first question is, you know, what can I do, you know, to get you doing something more positive? And then, you know, the first answer, Lonzo, is always jobs.
Right.
Okay. If I had a job, I wouldn't be doing that. Now, if you just heard that once or twice, you'd be like, you know, brother wants a job. But when you hear it every time you talk to a young man, every time they will say, well, if you could get us jobs, we wouldn't be out here doing this. So of course, my goal has to be to, in some way, bring major employers to Compton. Now, a good example is that UPS Brickyard project. Okay, that's an example of how you bring a project that's going to immediately provide jobs for our young people. So we have to have projects like that that can employ large numbers of young people quickly with a minimal amount of training, and then they get busy earning money. So that's the first key. But that ties into what we call in government economic development. See, that's real economic development. If you can get your economic development going by keying in on jobs for young people, those young people are going to be making money, spending that money in Compton. Compton's going to be getting the advantages of those tax revenues. And then we can really develop our community, and we can do things like make it cleaner. We can fix our streets. We can do everything to make this a great place to live. But it starts with those young people. So the way I want to go after the gang problem, the crime problem, is to think of it again from a business perspective. You put people to work. You know, I want to put people to work. When you and I were coming up, we had a CETA program. We had a summer youth employment program. We had all these programs where in the summer, we knew we had a job. Okay. Right. And if we were good enough, we knew year round, they'd probably keep us moving. And so we were always working, and we got to get our young people back working all the time, from the time they old enough to get a work permit from the school district.
Right.
Okay. They need to be working here in the city of Compton. And that's what I want to see, in addition to dealing with the police department and getting them to handle the crime situation in a better fashion. You know, combined with that, I think we can get things under control.
Okay. You asked my next question automatically. I like that. What about the police, the sheriff department, man? There's a lot of alleged issues with the sheriff department, with the current mayor, with the current people of Compton. There's allegedly a gang involved in the Compton Sheriff Department.
Right.
How as the mayor do you think you can have an impact with that?
Well, first I'll say I got an appreciation for you saying alleged, but you know you don't have to, because I think all of it's found to be true. We do know there's a gang in the Compton Sheriff's Department. That's been found to be true. We do know on all these other abuses and what have you are true. Okay, so I'm going to address it as truth. And so the first thing I want to do as mayor is I want to meet with the sheriff. And I don't mean meet with the captain here at the Compton station. I want to go down to Monterey Park or invite him down here to Compton to sit and to talk about his department. And I want to remind him that, you know, we pay good money for the sheriff to be here. Compton pays all of its money practically that comes in on an annual basis. A big portion of that goes to the sheriff's department. Now, see, we're paying money out of our general fund for the sheriff. At the same time, all of us who own homes here and buy things here, we pay more taxes to the county just to live here. Okay, so if you put it all together, what we paying property taxes, what we paying sales taxes, what we pay out of our general fund, the sheriff is getting all this money and we get terrible service. The reality is we get terrible service. Okay, so I want to have that discussion with him, and I want to talk to him about really using community-based policing here in our city. There's no reason why our people here in the city aren't involved in what the sheriff department does. There's no reason, no good reason for them not to be trying to foster a positive relationship with our kids and with our younger adults, with our seniors. They should be working to establish positive relationships with everybody in this city. Okay, I want the same kind of performance here, that when I drive over to Carson, I see the sheriff communicating with people, waving at people in their yards. I see them going to community events. I see them going out of their way to have a good relationship with the people of Carson. Okay, I want that same attention here in Compton, and I want to know who the deputies are. I don't like this situation where we don't know who these people are. They're anonymous to us. They patrol our streets. They look at us. If you don't wave at them, they don't acknowledge you. We don't know who they are. I don't want that.
They got them dark ass glasses on too all the time. They got them dark ass cloaks
that
on.
Too.
That makes me. Most of them are bald with them lokes on. That makes me a little concerned.
That's right.
I can't see your eyes. Okay.
That's right. That's right. So I want to immediately establish that that's just not acceptable here. If we paying you $30 million a year,
30 million,
you don't treat us like that. I just threw that out hypothetically. It may be more. I have to check this year's budget.
30 million.
We pay a significant amount of money for law enforcement to the LA County Sheriff on top of what we pay in our taxes to the County of Los Angeles.
That I did not know.
Okay, so see, they're doing good business here. Okay. Basically,
they're getting good money. They should give good
money. Good money. Not to mention. Okay, most people don't know this. Every time somebody sues the sheriff's department and wins, where do you think the money comes from?
The general fund?
No, the money comes from all the cities that they contract with. So if there's a wrongful death suit in Palmdale, and the sheriff's department loses, Compton contributes to that. Okay, if it happens here, Palmdale contributes to that. See, we all bear the cost on their performance everywhere, not just here, but everywhere. And people need to know that and understand that. That's why my requirement is they treat us better.
Okay. What about the roads, man? I saw they had a few improvements in the city, but we still got a lot of potholes, man. How do you address that?
Well, you address it first of all by putting our own public works department on it. Here's what amazes me about this government, man. I don't think I've ever been in a meeting where the mayor and council said potholes are the priority and we want them handled. Okay, remember way back, we go back to Kenny Hahn. Remember when Kenny Hahn said there's not going to be any potholes in Watts?
Okay.
And they did it. Okay, you go through Watts and the streets were smooth. Okay, Compton leaders have to say, we're not going to have any potholes. And so that's the only way that everyone who works for the city understands that we need to get these potholes done. Okay, because that is a priority of our leadership, that we get these potholes done. So that's initially, that's the first way to handle it. The second way of handling it is you got to find out where all the potholes are. I have never thought that our folks at City Hall know where all the damage is. So the first thing you do is an assessment to determine where all the damage is. Then the engineers can sit down and figure out how much we need to correct all of it. See, you can't sit back and wait for Lonzo to call in and say, hey, you all need to get over here and fix my street. It's all torn up. Right. You can't sit back and wait for that. You're supposed to know when the streets are in need of repair. So I want to get the city, and again, that's a business thing. It's like you need to stay on top of it because it costs you millions of dollars. And the longer you wait on it, the more millions it costs Not to mention figuring out why our streets are so damaged. Our streets are damaged from trucks, the vibrations from the trains, just wear and tear. We got a lot of things contributing to our street damage. Well, we got to understand that and work all that into the system for repairing it. Okay.
Once upon a time, man, Compton had the best water in the world. At one time it was a running joke that because of the water in Compton, that's how you got Serena, Dr. Dre, and Venus. And now in Compton, the water done turned yellow, beige, brown, whatever the color may be. How do we fix that? How do we get our water back? And then how do we bring the bill back down to a reasonable price? Because allegedly, again, the water bill in Compton is one of the highest in the county.
Well, it is one of the highest in the county. First, on the quality, understand that a lot of the water we get in Compton doesn't come from our own wells. See, Compton used to have its own wells. And those wells were pumping water that was extremely good water. And why all of us are great is because we were drinking that original well water.
Okay.
Well, see, the city buys a lot of water now. Okay. And with our well water, we sell a lot of it. Okay. So I'm not really sure which water we're drinking in the Compton Water Department on any given day. Okay. Because some of it is bought. We sell some of what we have. Okay. And in terms of the water bills, there has to be a way to get those bills down. And I refuse to believe that there's no way to cut those water bills, especially for our elders. Okay, because I was talking to an elder a couple of days ago, and she told me, well, my water bill was $238. Okay, and she said, I thought it was a leak. They sent a guy out. He looked and he said, there's no leak. She said, I didn't want to cause a problem. So I just went out and paid the $238, but that's a lot of money.
It is.
Okay, and this citizen is 82 years old. She lives by herself. Okay, and we have to find a method to get the bills down. I'm more concerned about our elders. I mean, an 82-year-old homeowner living by herself, there's no way she should have a $238 bill in the first place. Okay, right. Let alone there being something wrong, obviously, in the metering system that said she used that much water. Okay, so we got to take a hard look at this and provide some kind of a benefit to our elders so that their water rate drops down. And while we're doing that, work on a way to get the water rate down for everybody. But these elders, they don't need to see bills like that. And that concerns me.
Next thing, they said we got the highest property tax in the world. Why is that?
That's a true statement too. We have the highest property taxes because as a city, we're not doing any economic development. Okay, now see, here's what real economic development is. Yeah, economic development is not opening an In-N-Out burger drive-through. Okay, that provides some jobs. It's a development in that it's something they had to build, but that's not real economic development. Economic development is when you build a building, you put a company in the building, the company hires your people. Okay, if need be, they go into the schools and they train your people to take those jobs. Okay, those people earn a good wage and that money is recycled into your community. That's real economic development. Compton needs more real economic development. So what council people like to do is they like to go to groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings for this little business or that little business, but that's not the kind of economic development. That's good, but that's not true economic development the way we need it. So if we can get back to real economic development, we can stall out those tax increases because we have enough revenues coming into the city from sales tax and what have you, that we can stall it out. Plus, we need to stop putting debt on our voters. Okay, one of the reasons our tax bill is so high is because the voters are taking on debt. Okay, the city's floating a bond, we're paying a school bond right now. We're paying a college bond right now. We're paying, we pay bonds provided by the city of Compton. We got lighting bonds and what have you. So we pay all these bonds, and see, it used to be a time when people thought whenever there was a bond, they would say, we need this for education. So everybody's like, well, yeah, I like education, so I'm voting yes. Okay. Never thought that you're paying for that. You're voting yes to borrow money that as a taxpayer you got to pay. Okay, so on that end is like, again, I go back to my elders. Okay, they say things like, I'm looking at my property tax bill and I'm paying all this money to the Compton Unified School District, and my children been long gone, and my grandchildren don't go to school in Compton. Why do I have to pay this money?
Right.
Okay, so as a council, we have to address all of that, and we have to get to the point where citizens really understand what it is and develop a comfort level for what it is. And as a council, accept that we don't want to put any more tax burden on our citizens.
The current population of Compton.
It's going to, the census was just completed, and I believe it's going to come in. It has to come in over 100,000.
Okay.
So prior to this census, it was what, 97? So this time it has to come into over 100.
Of that 100,000 people, what ratio is actual active voters?
Active voting in Compton, you're talking about, take that 20% number.
So
okay.
20,000
people. Yeah, you're right. You're on the right track. 20,000
people. 20,000 people decide who will run Compton.
Oh, no, less than that. Okay, when you ask me the actual voters, that takes into account the national elections and the state elections. And the voter turnout always goes up for the national elections. Okay, but now if you're talking about Compton elections, okay, you're talking about basically a group of maybe 7,000 people.
7,000 people.
7,000 people. Those are the people who are going to vote.
Now, just so I'm clear on this, and we clarify this for people of Compton, the mayor gets votes from all 4 districts, correct?
Exactly, correct.
The city council members only get votes from their district.
From their district. And that's a good point, because what people need to understand? Those city council people represent approximately 2.5 square miles.
Okay.
It's 2.5 square miles. That's what they're representing.
2 miles wide. Okay. 2 miles wide.
Okay. Yeah. So if you think about the number of votes coming out of those 2.5 square miles, you're getting elected to a council seat with 400 or 500 votes. Sometimes less.
Interesting.
Yeah. So what that shows you is how low the voter turnout is. Okay. So that tells you how low it is.
That says a whole lot. That says a whole lot there, Doc. That says a whole lot. Okay.
And then even with the mayor's race, the mayor is getting elected with 3,000 or 4,000.
Wow. Out of 100,000 people, 20,000 active voters, 3,000 people actually make the decision. For the mayor of Compton.
That's what our past has been. So we'll see what happens this year. I'm hopeful for we always hope for a larger turnout. But we'll see. We'll see if the turnout is larger.
It seems like Compton need to get Stacey Abrams on the case and help her get some people activated, get them signed up on some voter registration here.
But Lonzo, everybody registered. Everybody's registered.
Okay.
They're just not voting. See, every time somebody says they're going to do a voter registration drive in Compton, what they find is that everybody's already registered.
They just don't vote.
They just don't vote. We good about registration. Okay, we're not going to the polls. We're not going to the polls. And I'm telling you, 4 years ago, as I was walking door to door, and I haven't come across it yet this trip, but 4 years ago, I ran into many people in different areas of the city who say, well, yeah, I'm registered. But you know what? They're always messing up down there at City Hall. I'm not participating. I'm not voting for nobody because they're always messing up something down there. So that voter apathy has become so great in Compton that you have so many people who just want to live here and they don't want to be bothered with what goes on at City Hall. And what that means is when the vote comes, they're not going to vote because to a lot of Compton people, they think all the politicians down there are doing are stealing money. Okay. And not doing anything to correct the problems. So they stay on.
$47 million in the hole. It's hard not to roll with that. $147 million in the hole is real hard to believe that's just an accounting mistake. Somebody didn't carry a 1 or something. That don't make no sense. $148 million?
Yeah, well, the state auditor can. You know about the state auditor's report 2 years ago, and the state auditor's report identified 79 deficiencies in the way Compton accounts for its money and spends its money. 79 accounting deficiencies. And I'm not just talking about an area, I'm talking about the whole system that the city has set up. 79 flag deficiencies.
All right. One of my agreed interviews is Doug Sanders, the current treasurer. We're gonna talk about that too. I'm gonna talk to the other person. I'm gonna talk to Thatcher as well. Unfortunately, I know most of the people. Like I know you. I'm not gonna.
Oh yeah.
I know most of the people that's running for office, and it puts me in a good and a bad position because I can't really favor anybody. I will not favor anybody at this time. That's not my position. My position here is only to provide a platform, a digital platform, so the people of Compton can see this interview, play it at their own discretion, replay it at their own discretion, share it with other people if they want to. It's free. It don't cost a dime to pass this interview on to somebody else. I know I'm not the only one doing it. I just been blessed to have a following that will listen to the interviews that I do. So, yeah, but I have a lot of people. Some people I don't know. Some people I do know. That's running various offices. And like I'm gonna say this again, like I said at the beginning, whoever you may be, if I know you, if I don't know you, you are welcome to come on this platform and pitch your case, pitch your spiel. What you gonna do for Compton? What is your plan for the city of Compton in whatever position you plan to work in that you're running for? What is your position? How do you plan to increase to make Compton better from your position, from your standpoint? If and when you win, I can't give it to you yet because that ain't my position. But if and when you win, what is your position? How do you plan to make Compton a better place for us all to live in? Because as we very well know, Compton is not a majority Black city anymore. So we have various people from various walks of life that are running for various positions, and it's going to be a shift at some point in time. It's going to be a shift. Is it going to be a peaceful shift? Is it going to be done in a manner that everybody's going to be able to deal with, just like we did with as people moved into the city? We have Latinos, we have Samoans, we have Blacks, we have white people coming back to Compton. Compton's about to be very diverse. Go ahead.
I was going to say, because you make a good point in terms of the ethnic makeup in our city. And so that said, one of my priorities is also inclusiveness. Okay. The reality is Compton is comprised of 65% Latino. Yet when you look at the government, when you look at the positions of leadership, it's obvious that there's underrepresentation. Okay. Now, from my perspective, we know the shift is coming. What's important to me is that qualified people are there and ready. Okay. The way you groom people to step into these positions in a position of knowledge is you begin to move people into your important commissions: Planning Commission, Personnel Commission, Parks Commission, Disability Commission. All of these commissions that play important roles in the city. Let's have some inclusiveness, okay, so that when people begin to run, that they have some experience. One of the things, Lonzo, when you look at this year's mayor's race, you see lots of folks, good people, but you see a minimum of experience in government, a very minimum in most of the candidates. Very few of them have any experience in government, and that's not good. And the reason it's not good is because, let's say the citizens decide to elect people who are fresh, brand new, never been involved. Well, that learning thing, they can't really get anything done until they're taught, this is the Public Works Department. This is what they do. This is the clerk's office. This is what they do. This is a budget. This is who puts it together, la da 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 da. So we don't need to put ourselves in a position where we're electing people who have to be taught. And we're in a crisis situation. You can't be in that big a deficit without admitting that you're in a crisis. So when you're in a crisis, you go with experience. You don't call in, you say, well, we need, which superhero should we call? Should we call Superman, or do we want to call, that little guy who just got a cape on, he just joined the group, right? He hasn't really fought crime, but let's call him. No, you call Superman, okay? Because Superman is going to solve the problem. And we're in that kind of situation where if we don't call on people who really have the knowledge and experience, we're just not helping ourselves.
Would that mean you got an S on your chest?
I like to think so. As it relates, hey,
you set yourself up for that. I had to ask you.
As it relates to government in Compton, there is no one on the ballot who has been running in and out of City Hall, getting involved in city government longer than I have.
You have you currently hold an elected office as well, right?
Right. I'm on the LA County Democratic Central Committee. I won a seat last March. And the Central Committee, in that seat, I represent Compton, Watts, Willowbrook, South LA, Carson, and everything all the way down to Wilmington. Okay. So, the Central Committee basically sets the policy for the Democratic Party in Los Angeles County.
Does that pay any money?
None.
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 So you're doing it at the goodness of your heart.
That's all it is. That's all it is. And we meet, actually, I'm on the Legislative Affairs Committee, so we meet once a month to discuss pending legislation, and we do the recommendations to the Democratic Party as to whether they should support legislation or go against legislation. So I do that as well as the regular Central Committee business meetings and what have you.
Will that position enhance your position if you become the mayor?
Oh, absolutely. And the main reason it'll enhance it is because of the direct contact with other mayors, county officials, and state officials. Okay, so we're talking direct contact now, so that if I pick up the phone and call someone at the county, I'm not an unknown factor. Same with the state of California. I'm no longer an unknown factor because of this elected position.
You have any endorsements as of right now?
It's early and interviews are just now starting to go down. So the Democratic Party endorsement comes up next week. And after the Democratic Party endorsement, if I'm granted that, I'll really be able to go after much, much more. So we're just getting started with that.
All right, now who's funding your campaign at this point? I got to ask, where the money coming from?
I have a lot of independent contributors. I've been blessed to know good people who just want to donate, be it small donations, and it's all small donations to this point. And I don't know if people know it, but when you run for office, the first money that goes into your campaign is money that you put in. Okay, right. So my wife and I are heavy contributors to our campaign. Okay, very heavy contributors.
You did it to yourself.
Yeah, right. So
it's like $2,500 to run for mayor or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was all total $2,800. Just to get your paperwork in and everything else. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So.
All right, James. You my first interview, and like I said, you won't be my last. You're gonna see some other folks on this platform that's running for mayor as well. I'm gonna ask you the same questions I've asked you. I'm looking forward to interviewing everybody that's running for anything in the city of Compton. Once upon a time, you dared not run for something in the city of Compton and not sit with Lonzo on Long Beach Boulevard at the Comcast station and let us sit there, let them grill you for an hour and a half. Because back then we were live and people of Compton would call in and ask the questions. And at some point in time, I may call you back for a live interview just to do just that, either by over the phone or in the chat room. So.
Absolutely. I'm
looking forward to more. I thank you for the day. I wish you luck in your campaign.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Much love, Doc. Tell your wife I said hello.
Okay.
All right.
Will do. Take care, bro.
All right, now. Peace. Compton Chronicles, folks. You're live with Lonzo. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter, Instagram, all the above. Facebook. Like us, share us, comment, please. We need to have your input. Please comment. James needs it. People of Compton need it. I need it. Peace, y'all. Thank you.